Challenge. Now, summertime, it's when many are able to kick back and relax. For others, it's an opportunity to rake in some extra cash with a summer job. But more and more, teens are choosing to soak in the sun instead of rolling up their sleeves. Here with us to explain is our money guy, Dan Ricardo, and our cultural analyst. You guys got titles. I like this. I need a title. President of Black Men of Penn, Chad Lassiter. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
All right, so what are we experiencing now? What's going on?
Do you remember your first summer job?
I do.
What was it?
It was answering phones at a request line for a radio station.
It was cutting grass. You know,
we worked.
We worked.
Yeah.
Guess what? Most teens this summer, not working. Only 6 million are working versus 10 million just a few years ago. In large part, schools become a year-round project for many teens, right? And we also have this kind of weird social dynamic where as wages go up, employers, especially small employers here in the city, are reluctant to bring on unskilled workers, many of whom are teens.
Okay, yeah. So I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to simply say one of the things when we talk about working is that it teaches character development. It gets you into the workforce. And teens, I think, sometimes are missing out on those aspects of socialization.
No question.
You know, work ethic and things of that nature.
Your first paycheck, Bill, in many ways is your most important paycheck because it teaches, as Chad just said, it teaches those skills that we're going to have with us the rest of our life. How to deal with a cranky customer. Hey, you know, how to get to work on time. Right? Those basic skills that Chad just mentioned are so important, and so many teens are missing out on those. Now, I understand they're in school, they're furthering their academic, all good, but you can do both. Right? That part-time job over the summer really does mean a lot.
And sometimes it gets you into the foray of maybe something that you want to do. So if you want to be a pediatrician, maybe starting off as environmental services or as a dietitian at the St. Christopher's Hospital of Children, and then as you progress with your education, you're right there in the system where you can possibly end up working at.
Both of you are talking about how it builds character and it strengthens. We've seen some statistics that indicate it also strengthens communities. So it's a little scary that they're not working.
This was the neat angle, and Chad and I were just talking about this, that 40% of white teens this summer will be working. Only 24% of African-American teens will be working. Okay. So you can see already, and Chad will talk about this better than I can, you'll see already that even at that very early stage, we had this inequality starting to creep in, right? And that's not good because that will follow you through the rest of your career, right? So it does have this sort of social angle to it, and studies have shown that where teens are working, the community's better.
And crime is down.
Crime's down.
And so that's one of the things that we want to be able to do is foster a community where there's less violence, there's less crime, there's less challenges. And then also we're creating what? Socialization skills along the lines of a moral compass, a moral imperative. And then against the economic backdrop, we're also helping families. A lot of families need the additional income and they need the additional help.
And communities need that stability of employed individuals. Now, there are reasons behind some of this. Now, some of this is more people are in school. Like there's some other reasons.
Right? So, sports and activities for some kids have become a year-round project, right? These dreaded travel teams. I'm so against this stuff in many ways because it wreaks havoc on the family. I've got teens, as you know, so this is important. But, you know, the minimum wage law, again, we talked about that. It has its pros and its cons. And in some ways, it is detrimental, particularly to urban teens who are looking for that first job. In many ways, those employers are reluctant to bring them on.
Yeah, and then we also have to teach young people the both and concept. You can both be in school, you can do the travel teams, and you can also work because as adults, we're both and. We work,
we're juggling.
We're parents, we have multiple identities, and so young people need to recognize that you can embrace those multiple identities.
It sounds like that this is a multi-tiered problem. It's just this is employers that are not hiring people for whatever reason, or not hiring teens for whatever reason. There are also teens that are not seeking out the job. So it seems like a couple steps to correcting this.
Here's some good news. Because the economy is booming at the moment in terms of employment, there are lots of jobs out there. So if anyone wants to work, if you're listening to us this morning and you're thinking, hey, I could do something this summer, there's the opportunity to do it.
I believe so, and I think with the workforce development data that we're seeing coming from the school district of Philadelphia, there's a correlation, there's a link. We need young people to work because we want to be able to push our economy forward.
I think the really positive thing that comes out of all of this is we're having the discussion about getting people to take jobs that actually are out there and existing, as opposed to how do we open up the door and make more jobs available. So there's a positive out of that.
All work is God's work. I don't care what it is. Get started.
Good to see you both.
All right.
Always a pleasure, gentlemen.
Good to see you as well.
Appreciate you getting up with us.